Hey, happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Man, Saturday already. How's everyone doing? A lot of chit chat already. Hey, thanks for making it to my stream. Hey, man, we're already on a hype train, so thank you. I'm definitely going to call stuff out for sure. So thank you so much. Let's call them out now. There was stuff in the beginning. Let's keep this hype train going. I'm going to call out the first one, PC Geek, who's resub tier 1, 23 month streak. 23 months. I can't believe it. Keep up the good work. Glad to be part of the community. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much too for all you do. 23 months, man. Almost 2 years. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I can't. Let's see. Jenna Ryan was also in here too. So Jenna Ryan, resub tier 1, 21 months. Oh man, almost 2 years too, man. Thank you so much for the continued support. Retired Night Owl has resub Prime 6 months. Whoa, rolling in. Thank you. Retired Night Owl resub Prime 6 months. Thank you so much, and thanks for using my emotes. They're a little wild. PC Geek got on me for a while about making some animated emotes, so I finally did. And then iLoot, resub tier 1, 23 month streak. iLoot and PC Geek, you guys are both almost 2 years, both mods. Thank you so much for sticking around for 2 years, and you haven't been fed up with me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, both of you guys. Thanks, iLoot. PC Geek cheer 100 bits, dude. Thank you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Tor Kamada resub Prime 8 months. Thank you so much, Tor Kamada. Thank you so much. Mob Farmer, I like it. Cheered 100 bits. Thank you. I want to ride the train. Yeah, dude. iLoot, man. Oh man, oh man. So iLoot gifted what's this? 5 tier 1 subs, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. iLoot gifted a tier 1 sub to Bitmonger the First, Feral Snow MILF franchise. How's it going, franchise? Thunder Gods and the Friar. Enjoy your gifted sub from iLoot. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you. Man, that awesome. So anyways, yeah, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for making it here. I know last week we did YouTube, but we're changing it up. We're coming back to Twitch. Dude, it keeps refreshing. Thank you. Clay Crusher, resub Prime, 6 months, 1 month streak. Thank you so much, Clay. Thank you. So yeah, back on Twitch. If you weren't here last week, I did unboxing of the play button. It's actually up over there now. It's propped up. It hasn't found a permanent home yet, but the play button is over there. We unboxed that last week on YouTube, so we're back on Twitch. So how's everyone doing? If you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to be here. We run roughly about an hour, just pretty loose in here. Keep it mostly, tech related. If you have something you're working on, you're struggling with, or want to share, yeah, absolutely throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. And then for those that have been to the stream before, thank you. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. So man, I usually start with weather. Let's do weather. Weather's been kind of all over the place. I know it's been hot a lot of places, and it's been rainy some other places, but it's been pretty hot and dry here. I think today it's been kind of, I don't want to say raining all day, but on and off for most of the day, which is good. It's a good thing, and it's going to cool off after today. I think after today the highs are only 70s, which I'm grateful for. I love high of 70s. I could go high of 60s, but anyway, so weather's been a little bit wild, I think, for most people most of the summer. And then yeah, that's about it. So yeah, let me know what you guys are working on. Throw it in chat. I'd love to talk about it. What I've been working on, you guys probably saw it this morning. I finally released something. I think someone in the YouTube comments, it's like, I've been teasing it for years, and I kind of have for a couple of reasons. But anyways, I released a video this morning on configuring your Kubernetes ingress. So your ingress, so how traffic gets routed to your services with Traefik, and on top of that, Cert-Manager. And I've been putting this one off for a while. One, because it's long. Two, I needed to dog food it myself and make sure everything was working the way I planned it to. And three, it's not a popular topic, but I knew I was going to do it someday. So anyways, I'm glad I held off on it because I wanted to make sure it worked in my cluster. I think it's been running for almost 3 or 4 months in my cluster now. And it's fantastic. So yeah, combination of getting certificates for Kubernetes with Traefik proxy, with Let's Encrypt and Cloudflare for DNS validation, and Cert-Manager is I mean, I've never thought getting certificates was fun or easy, but Cert-Manager makes them both, I think. It's just great to be able to define your certificates in YAML, even though I despise YAML. It's great to define it in YAML and then request it and get them. It's super nice, a declarative way to get certificates. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. I got it out there, and now that one's been in my backlog for a long time. I finally had some time to where I was like, okay, I'm totally gonna focus. I'm totally gonna get this exactly right. No mess ups, and we'll see. Jury's still out on mess ups. So yeah, let me know what you're working on. I'd love to hear. So yeah, I did mention this. If you're new, yeah, we mostly talk through chat. So I'm gonna start from the top, go to the bottom, see where we land. Afterwards, we run roughly about an hour. I start a little bit late, so we're gonna go a little bit late. But afterwards, we all hop into voice chat, and I'll figure out what voice chat channel people are gonna hop into. But we usually hop in there. I think there's someone in Azeroth now, but I'll hop in there and we can chat some more if you want. And that'll be right after the stream. So if you're not a member of a Discord, you should absolutely join. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So yeah, let's see what's going on. There's lots of chat. So let me also, since I called out all the subs, let me thank everyone for the follows too. There was I gotta scroll way far down. So I think shortly before we started, there were some follows. So Element, hey, scroll back up. What was that spark? Oh, see, it's weird. It didn't appear yet in my list. I apologize if I didn't see that. Oh, here we go. Retired Night Owl gifted a tier 1 sub to Othug Muffin. Dude, Retired Night Owl, thank you so much. Othug Muffin, enjoy your gifted sub from Retired Night Owl. Thank you so much. And gifted another one to Spartan Bravo. Spartan Bravo, that's what I'm going with. Dude, thank you so much, Retired Night Owl. So Spartan Bravo and Othug Muffin, enjoy your gifted sub from Retired Night Owl. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go into follows real quick so I can get back to the top. So I said elements, polarized, oxt, frick, misinfo, Spartan Bravo. There we go again. And Olav Nilsen. I apologize. It's probably Nilsen from Discord from earlier today, maybe. Enjoy your gifted sub from, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for following. Man, there's a lot going on. You have to click a lot of buttons right now. There we go. Okay, so let's get in the chat. Let's see what you guys are working on. I'm sure a ton. But who was here first? I think I know who was here first. I think I saw it earlier, and then you guys also mentioned it too. Yeah, Salvarius. What's up, man? Hey, Salvarius was here first. I apologize, I can't get it on the screen, but I see it here. He was here first. He was here at 22:22, so about 40 minutes earlier. Alfie Tross was close second, and then Xavius Xavius actually knows that Salvarius was in here, so Xavius might have been here first, but he didn't say anything. So man, thank you guys for coming out early. All right, I'm gonna hop into chat to where I can see it. Salvarius, like the new intro music. New? Yeah, it's kind of new. I do this thing like every time I release a video, except for today, I forgot. I remembered when I went live. I usually add the song that was in my video that I released to the beginning of my playlist when I stream. It's super weird. No one ever notices, but yeah, so this is the one from like last video. And so, yeah, I kind of I do like the vibe of the video, the song I've been playing the last two times. I think I might keep it. I think I might keep it for a while. Pulcher Primus, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Spartan, Tim, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. I'm sure a lot of people can. For a few weeks now. Yeah, for sure. Is that actually Tim in the blurred image, or is it recorded? Oh no, that's me. So before I go stream, I just have a little like blurred window so I can get everything set up and working. And I figured rather than you see me like do weird things, I keep it blurry to let you know, hey, I'm like here if you need something, but I'm getting set up. Sigor, hi, how's it going? Elaine P, hey. Biodaddy Toxin. I think it's him, but he's still getting ready. That's exactly right. That's Aprashar. The blurry image is a sister. No, it's not. No, it's not. I do have a sister, but it's definitely not her. I like unblurry Tim better. Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. So the blurry image, I like it. You guys are liking that for sure. Let's see. Let's get into here. Let's see. BioDaddy Toxin. You ever going to do a video on PXE booting diskless client? Ah, interesting. Maybe. It's definitely in my backlog. It's super interesting. So you basically want to be able to PXE boot, so PXE boot over the network to get your disk image to have your clients boot up. And so then all your clients really become like stateless machines that they get their state from some kind of boot image over the network. It sounds awesome, and I see a lot of people do it with Pies, and then I've seen machine as a service type stuff too, Mass, for Canonical, and it all sounds awesome. Not out of the, it's in my backlog. That's all I can say. I would love to. I would love to have more time to do videos more often. Let's just say that. But life and other videos and commitments. Futzy, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate all the videos. I've learned a lot. Have you looked at N8N at all? No, I have not. Let me see if I can find that. This view that I use doesn't show me what I'm looking at right now. But Futzy, I think it's Futzy. No, I don't know what N8N is. No, I'm lost. I want to say it's probably something Kubernetes or has to do with it. I could be totally wrong. And if it's like the whole like internationalization shortage, I'm speculating. It starts with N and then has 8 characters and then N. So I don't know. I'd have to look. I haven't looked at it, but dude, thank you so much for the Prime sub 2 months. Thank you so much. Dude, Alpha Computer, 1776, resub, tier 1, 4 months, 4 month streak. Thank you. 4 month streak. Woohoo. Thank you so much. Alpha Computer, 1776. Thank you. But no, I would, I'll have to look into it for sure. Anytime I see a new acronym or something, or I think it's new tech, and I'm sure this is newer tech, so I need to look into it for sure. Yakto, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Finally gonna start racking my garage DC now that power is in place. I saw that. Your power looks pretty legit. I saw that on Twitter. I'm super jealous because my power in my garage is not great. It's pretty janky, and yours looks pretty legit. But yeah, so you're gonna start racking in your garage your 342U racks. I'm still curious what you got going on in there. I'm still curious. Maybe one day you'll say. I mean, you've said what types of servers, but I'm wondering like what you're actually going to be running, what services. But congrats on the power. Congrats on your racks, and your garage is now becoming your new server room, which is pretty awesome. PC Geek, staying cool and probably set up a couple more IP cameras. Hey, that sounds like a day to me. I would like to set up some more. I would like both of those things. I would like to stay cool because it is hot, and I would like to actually set up some more IP cameras. It's just hard to get a hold of them for me. Aprishar, that is fun. I've done IXE booting before, but so long ago, I forget how Aprishar. IXE, I don't know what maybe iSCSI? IXE? I don't know what IXE. Maybe you meant PXE, but I don't know what IXE is. But yeah, I've done it a while ago when I did disk imaging. When I was in tech support, I did a ton of it. That's how I imaged every single Windows machine that I had to build, or Linux machine. I'd boot over PXE. I'd send a wake on LAN packet. I'd boot to PXE. It would attach to our systems, and I would deploy images to it, or flash firmware. And this was a long time ago. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. I thought it was super magical for sure, and it's awesome. Elaine P, getting into Kubernetes, getting Kubernetes with some storage and Grafana up and running. All right, right up my alley. Yeah, sounds awesome. Curious what you're choosing for storage. There you have options. A lot of people choose Longhorn, Rook, or even NFS client. All are fine. I would just caution about NFS. Like, it seems like it's like the perfect solution because you have to do so little except for have an NFS share, but not everything works over NFS. So I would use that with caution. I went all in with Longhorn, then I backed out, then I went all in with NFS. Now I'm backing out and I'm going back all in with Longhorn because I'm just tired of like all this small little quirks you find when things don't work over NFS. And then you're like, okay, now I have 10 one-offs. Like, do I do 10 one-offs, or do I use storage the same everywhere. And I'm starting to lean towards do the storage same everywhere, because then I don't have to worry about one-offs. And I get to keep my storage in my cluster, which is pretty awesome. Spartan. In the meantime, until Tim is unblurry, Mutahar is trying to explain what Linux distro I should use. All right, I'm unblurry now. Cadis, should Kubernetes be used when you only have one physical machine? Yeah, that's a good question. Should it be used? It depends. It really depends. Can it be used? Yes. Should it be used? I don't know. It depends. Like, do you want to, I assume you're asking because you have containers, and you want to keep a container environment. And so you're torn between like, hey, do I do a single node Kubernetes instance, or do I just keep doing, Docker, containerd, whatever? Do I just keep doing Docker only? It's really up to you. I'm struggling with this too. I've said it a few times, I think, to PC Geek, and I've said it in our Discord chat. Now that I have so much Kubernetes, I'm having a hard time managing Docker only hosts. It's just the scales have now tipped. Before it was like I kind of put stuff in Kubernetes, and now it's like most stuff is in Kubernetes, and I only have 2 Docker only hosts. And now it's becoming more challenging to manage those because I have to manage those different. At first it was, challenging managing Kubernetes different, but now that I have a lot of that figured out and backups and everything working and high availability services, cluster, high availability storage, it's kind of easy. And so now having, my Docker only host, it's kind of like, I'm in the same boat. Where I might flip to a single node K3S installation so that I can manage it just like everything else that I manage. So, does it make sense? It's really up to you. It's really up to you. How much do you want to manage? Is it going to use more resources than a Docker only host? Probably. But I mean, how do you want to manage the thing? Do you want to manage it like Kubernetes, or do you want to manage it like a virtual machine that has Docker containers on it? And I think that's what it boils down to. How you want to manage the thing, how you want to back things up, how you want to do storage and everything like that. So it's really up to you. But I've been going through that same struggle, if you can't already tell. I just need some time because I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to flip my Docker only host to single node K3S clusters, a cluster of 1, just so I can do all the things that I've already been doing, Flux deployments, source controlling all of my my infrastructure in GitLab, my runners, everything. So it might be tough, but maybe I'll document it or turn it into something. That's kind of what I've been planning on. So we'll see. But yeah, good question. Let's see. Elaine P. Cadis, sorry. This is all my glasses. I guess, yeah, the day you upgrade to 2, you already have set up for scaling. Yeah. So, good point. Another good point. So if you do a single node K3S, it's easy to go to 2, and then to 3, and then to 4 as you expand. Easy, air quotes, easy to expand. But, you just do it the Kubernetes way. And rather than say, how would you scale to 2 Docker machines? It's kind of hard. I mean, unless you're going to use Swarm, but, similar tech. But yeah, good call. Easy, air quotes, easy to scale beyond 1. Spartan, what are your thoughts on a mini PC with 8-core i7 for beginner HomeLab server to tinker with? I think it's a fantastic idea. I have one back there. It's an Intel NUC. Doesn't have to be an Intel NUC. But super low power, very compact, has, a decent size SSD, has 8 cores, and it's actually running Proxmox. So the i7 that's in there, hey, 18 Will Ray, there you are. How's it going, man? 300 bits, dude, thank you so much. How's it going? You asked in Discord today, like, what time is the stream? Did I miss it, or is it going on now? You made it. Thank you so much. Thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. How's it going, Ray? So anyways, long story short, I have an Intel NUC there. If you're going to do it, and you're thinking about virtualizing, not saying you have to virtualize, but if you're considering it, just make sure the CPU on there supports virtualization, which I got super, not lucky. I did it on purpose, but I'm fortunate that the Intel NUCs have a CPU that supports virtualization, VTX. So then I can run Proxmox, and that's kind of nice. I run Proxmox on this tiny mini PC that has 4 or 5 virtual machines, Linux hosts, and they're all fine. They're all totally fine. So I think it's a great step before we're going like full on server rack. I think it'll last you. You'll get some mileage out of it for sure. Like I still have my other Intel NUC up there from like 8 years ago. And for a while that was running 2 virtual machines, like no problem at all. So anyways, yeah, good question. Cadis, I prefer the 50s. Oh, I prefer the 50s. Currently it's over 100. I prefer the 50s too. Thank you. Yeah, I totally do. I love 50s, you know, mid 50s, whatever, because it means, hey, I can put a hoodie on, I can keep the windows open, I can put some jeans on, pants on when I want to wear pants, and I can be comfy all the time for sure. Let's see. Olo, I'm gonna go with Nielsen. I apologize. Olav, there we go. I had to sound that one out for it. Olav, is Rancher Video with Nginx as a load balancer still the way to go? Yeah, so, yes. Depends. Depends. I think you're talking about like the HA Rancher install. So like the preferred way to install Rancher is to install it on a Kubernetes cluster, an existing one. The only reason why you need the load balancers is because you might not have a load balancer already. So you could use my K3S version and get a load balancer that way, and then install Rancher on top of that, and then expose a load balancer from the cluster for Rancher, or you can have a load balancer outside of the cluster. I prefer to put things inside of the cluster because it's less to manage. It's less to manage, and I know if I get things inside the cluster, if the cluster is HA, everything gets to benefit from it. So yes, that video still works. If you need a load balancer, do the Nginx piece. If you're gonna install it with K3S or any other way, you install it where you get kubevip and you get MetaLB inside of your cluster. You don't need the external load balancer. So yeah. Like a ThinkCenter M70Q or something. Yeah, like a mini. Yeah, we're talking about mini PCs. Yeah. Let's see. Loaded up with 16 or 32 gigs RAM. I totally agree. Those are super popular for HomeLab. They are for sure. PC Geek Cert-Manager. Woohoo! Yeah. It's been a long time coming. I've been using Cert-Manager for a long time, but I finally, pulled the plug on doing it on a disk. I know One Drop Devin is kind of beating me up. He's been beating me up in the Kubernetes channel for about 6 months now. Like, when are you going to release that video? I'm teasing. He wasn't beating me up. Kind of. No, but he was teasing me about when are you going to release this video because, like, you should be doing it this way. And I was just like, it's in my backlog, so can't say he didn't influence that video because now he can't say it anymore. Teasing. Spartan, don't want to splurge on the Threadripper Pro or Dual Epics. Yeah, that for sure. You got to work your way up to that. You got to earn that. You can't just go straight into Threadripper Pro or Dual Epics. You need a mini PC first so you can feel the pain once you get once you start like expanding your services like beyond your means. You need some struggling. Xavius, dude, thank you so much. 301 bits. Xavius, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Hope you're well. How's your rack going? Thug Muffin. I have 3 Intel NUCs. All right. 2 i5s and 1 i7, all with 16 gigs RAM and 800 gig SSDs. Awesome. That is awesome. I'm a huge fan of Intel NUCs. I've been for a long time. It was one of my first modern kind of, HomeLab PCs to tinker on. For sure, it was my media center for years too. They're very capable. I'm a huge fan. Clay Crusher, getting ready to set up my first TrueNAS scale system. Awesome. Should I have redundant metadata drives, or will it be okay with one? I'm not sure. I mean, it's how comfortable do you feel with not having redundancy? I would go with it if you can. But if not, have good backups, back up your config often, and do all the things you normally would. The thing is, if it's your NAS, it's probably the target of your backups for a lot of things. So I would say go redundant. I mean, it's only going to be as good as your weakest link, and I would go redundant for sure. Jen Ryan, The only thing I don't like about the tiny PC is for lab is the limit on network options. No real PCIe slot. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let me grab a drink. I agree. You do get a limit. You are limited by a gig usually. Sometimes I think newer ones are starting to ship with 2.5. It could be wrong. Those might be the extreme. But yeah, I agree. But at least for me, I don't need 10 gig on my little tiny NUC. I barely need 10 gig in my environment now. Only for like uplinks on switches, and soon I'm saying like, I don't really need 10 gig, but I'm putting it in. But for me to be able to connect to my NAS to edit my video remotely. But yeah, I totally agree. That's when you buy, basically pre-built an Intel NUC or mini PCs, you are limited in some option or another. Networking is one. But I have a feeling that, 2023, I think, is going to be the year for 2.5 gigabit. I think it is. I think it's going to be coming. I think it is. Which is, 2.5 times what you could do now, which is still a pretty big pipe, for sure. Let's see, Cadis, what are the use cases for Kubernetes in a home environment? Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything, really. Very similar to what you do with Docker containers, except for you possibly want to spread those containers across multiple machines. So clustering is a good one. There's caveats to all this stuff, but I'm going to talk about it super high level because, you got to have, machines or containers that can be scaled. There's a difference between containers that can be scaled and that can't be scaled. I'm going to talk about them all as if they can, but you can run them, you can cluster them, you can run multiple replicas, you could have them bounce around on different machines, make services highly available. You can do, health checking, reporting. But what I found that I like about running Kubernetes at home is that, like, when you install a service, I'm going to say a service, but like a feature within your cluster, everything in your cluster can take advantage of it. Like earlier, I was talking about storage. Like I use Longhorn for storage. Any container I have that needs to read and write to disk can use my Longhorn storage. I installed it, I configured it once. Now every single container I have within my cluster can use that storage if I want. And the same goes for monitoring, same goes for metrics, the same goes for logging. It's basically like I set this up once and it becomes a feature of my cluster that pods can use if they want, or automatically adopt. Or can't opt out of, which is nice. So for logging, I set it up once. I log every single container, installed it, configured it once. Monitoring and metrics with Prometheus and Grafana, just talked about it 2 weeks ago, did it once. Get it from all containers. And the same goes for storage, and the same goes for my certificates that I talked about this morning. Same goes with my reverse proxy, which I talked about this morning. So super nice. It comes at the cost of complexity, though. So I would say, like, unless you're genuinely interested in Kubernetes and learning more about it, it may not be worth your time, but I believe it is, because I think that it is so prevalent in the enterprise world that it's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore. Every company is doing it, been doing it, or want to do it. Once you get to a certain size, because the idea of having a declarative way to deploy, a repeatable way to deploy stuff to your cluster, as well as having high availability services is appealing to almost anyone. You can scale Kubernetes so fast and so easy if designed right. So it's pretty awesome. At home, very different, but you have large communities like Kate's at Home. Like that's a whole entire community around building Kubernetes services at home. And it's services, you and I probably use Plex and you name it. And it's an easy way to run those in the cluster. So I would have to say you have to have the desire to run Kubernetes first. It's nothing anyone's forcing on you, but I think there's kind of this evolution or change of mind or mindset change from VMs to containers. I think that Kubernetes, going from Docker to Kubernetes is one of those two, but at the cost of complexity, just like it was when you went from virtual machines to containers. Yeah. So anyways, like I always say too, at the end of the day, you have to support and manage your entire environment, and it is an additional some maintenance to pick up and things to figure out, and it can be super frustrating at times, but that's how it is in most of tech. So yeah, good question. Spartan, I have an old Alienware laptop with a 4700 HQ and 16 gigs of RAM myself, and may install Proxmox on it to try it out. Yeah, there you go. But Proxmox host, totally great little host. Yeah, I totally agree. The same here. Alfie Tross, just me sitting in Azeroth. Yeah, I saw that earlier. You're not alone earlier. I wasn't going to say that, but I was like, yeah, there's one person in there. But I think, at the end of the stream, people always pile in. So Salvarius, prepping here for spinning up postfix and Gitty. Nice. Self-hosted postfix and self-hosted Gitty. Nice. Gitty looks super awesome and super simple. It's like a very, very clean version of GitLab, which to me sounds appealing. So yeah, you were talking about earlier, like, which container should I spin up this morning? I think you found him. Mob Farmer, Z44E2660 versus Threadripper 1950X workstation opinion. I don't know, maybe Threadripper, only because like that seems a little bit newer than the 2660. I could be wrong. I would say go with whichever one is newer, like release date wise. Only because like with newer usually comes newer tech, more efficient. I don't know the release dates on those, and I don't know the specs right off the top of my head for the Threadripper, but it sounds awesome. I wish I had a Threadripper. But then again, I don't know. But then compare prices too, because like Threadripper boards get kind of spendy or pricey. I've been in Minnesota for a while. They say spendy here. I used to say pricey, but now I think I'm starting to convert. They can be pretty pricey. So I would just do the comparison. But if you're only concerned about, performance and power, I would just, whatever you think. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to do the same research you do, which is Google it, look at the specs, look at the cost for the boards, and then do the math on how much that would cost, and then see how much power they draw, and then see what type of RAM they use, and then see how much that costs. So, Elaine, I had to abandon Traefik as ingress router because it doesn't seem to support creation of TCP router, and the SNI TLS pass-through is annotating the ingress definition. Interesting. I had to abandon it because it doesn't seem to support the creation of a TCP router and SNI TLS pass-through by annotating the ingress definition. You're like in territory I haven't been into. So I'm curious though, if you're using ingress or ingress route. It seems like you said you're creating one with the TCP router. I've done very few stuff on TCP with Traefik. I usually I bail, and what I end up doing is just exposing a load balancer on MetaLLB and saying have at it. Not the greatest. But I typically don't do a reverse proxy unless it's HTTP traffic. I kind of bail and do the load balancer with MetaLLB because it's a lot easier. Not saying that's right, but that's the route I usually go. So, but curious what you're running into. Would love to see more in maybe in Discord. Let's see. There's a lot of chit chat about stuff going on and typos. Windsurf. Here we go. Hi Tim. I'm trying to set up SSL on everything. Some problem on the starting of Traefik UI. So you probably mean on the dashboard. That dashboard, I swear, it gives me more problems than any other thing I've ever done. And maybe it's the way they implemented it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, I will say. But I assume that's what you're meaning, starting the Traefik UI. Yeah. I mean, for this, you're just going to have to look at the YAML, make sure it's right, make sure your DNS entries are right. And then if all of that seems right, and you even, if all that seems right, and you do an NS lookup on those DNS entries, and they are pointing to, I assume you're talking about the Docker version, to that Docker host, then I would look at the traffic logs for that container and just see. Those are tough. Just like the one I released today. I honestly think the Kubernetes way is a little bit easier. Mainly because I spent so much time figuring out all of the possible values and creating all of the resources so you can just apply. But Yeah, it's a little tougher on Docker because depending if you're using a UI versus Compose, it can be tough. 18 wheel ride. What's up, y'all? A little bit late, but doing some yard work. All right. Windsurf. It's here in Italy, 2020, 22, 23. We have 31 Celsius. That's pretty warm. That seems warm to me. Pulcher Primus. Do thoughts exit the body through their physical orifices? I don't know. I don't know. Mom Farmer, Joyent, a cloud provider, does a full data center via PXE boot. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Yeah, it's totally. I could see how you'd want to do that. Like I was talking about earlier, it's kind of stateless. All your machines just become pretty dumb machines, and you can serve out an image to any of them. And each time they reboot, and then you can update your machine, schedule a reboot, and then they get the latest image every time they reboot. You could totally make it almost ephemeral too, but pretty awesome, pretty awesome. Workflow automation, awesome. I saw a video on that the other day, awesome. N8N, free, open, fair code, licensed node-based workflow automation tool. Easy automate tasks across different services. Okay, so kind of like Node-RED or any other thing. Sounds awesome. I'll have to look into it for sure. HN Gaming UK, how's it going? So after installing OpenSense, I have noticed that AWS systems pinging my gateway IP. Not sure if you check firewall logs this deeply, like I have been, but have you noticed? So installing, I haven't noticed. No, I haven't noticed. But if you say it's an AWS system, it can be a bajillion things, only because like 80% of the web runs on AWS. So that one's tough. And I don't think that installing OpenSense did this. I think maybe now that you have the observability to look through the logs that you're noticing this, and it could have been going on for a long time. So yeah, not sure. That one's tough. But if you're connected to the public internet, just assume things are going to be scanning you. Things are going to be trying to log into things that may or may not exist, and things are going to be pinging you. So you can block them and then forget about it, but then it might come back again, or you just turn off ping for your IP and just don't let people even know that you're there, which is nice, but then you can never ping your IP when you're not at home to check to see if it's up. So yeah, it gets scary once you start looking at logs. I do look at logs. I look at logs a lot, actually, and it gets kind of scary sometimes. Sometimes I freak out and I'm like thinking I'm hacked, and the next minute I think I'm okay, and then I get alerts from things, and I'm just like, it's kind of a roller coaster, but it's a good thing to look at them. I would just say that, like, make sure that you have some kind of tiered approach to your security where at the end of the day, if someone's pinging you, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. 18 Wheel Bray, I finally got my mic junk figured out. Yeah, I know you had some microphone issues with Discord, so we'll test it. We'll test it later on today. Windsurfer, AIX is an operating system. iSCSI is a small computer's interface. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Janik Steiner. Hi, how's it going? Missed that one. Salvarius spun up a netboot XYZ the other night. Impressed with how easy it is, how easy they have made iPixie. Good guides on router firewall configs as well. That's the one I hear come up every now and then when people are talking about Pixie booting their Raspberry Pis, which sounds pretty awesome. Cadis, when I get a rack and rack case, I think I'm probably going to upgrade to Threadripper Pro for tons of PCIe lanes, slots, and NVMe storage. Yeah, I hear you. So if you're talking about workstation, yeah, Threadripper, you're going to get more lanes. You're going to get more lanes for PCI Express devices, which is pretty awesome. So if you're doing multiple video cards along with 10 gig, along with NVMe drives, those all use PCIe lanes, and having a Threadripper or some kind of processor that has more lanes is fantastic. That's kind of where I'm getting right now. I think a workstation upgrade is coming soon. I want to see what Intel has to offer this fall, and I want to see what AMD has to offer this fall. And then I think I'm going to build one. Maybe DDR5. Get ready for this, Bill. I'm not. Elaine, we'll try out Rook for storage. Yeah, so I mean, so in order of complexity, I would say Rook is probably the most complex. So you have to have Ceph in your environment to be able to do it. And then there's Rook Ceph to be able to connect to Ceph to Kubernetes. So you got to have Ceph in place either first or as part of doing this. So it's not like, I'm going to try out Ceph real quick. It's not like that. Not like that. Modest Tim, how's it going? Sub tier 1, like the name. How's it going? Modest Tim, thank you so much for the sub. Tier 1, thank you so much. Clay Crusher, what do you do to personalize your VS Code? Yeah, good question. I used to do more. So a couple of, I'll just say like a couple of extensions that I can't live without. One is Rainbow Indent. You probably see it if you ever look at my IDE. You'll see a bunch of indentations and these colored lines. Rainbow Indent is one I install all the time because I do a ton of YAML, I do a ton of JSON, I do a ton of code, but especially on YAML, it helps me line up where I'm at in YAML since it's white space sensitive. Stony Eagle, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Another one that I use spell check. That seems kind of odd, but I do because JavaScript, because I do a ton of JavaScript, and because it's not a typed language, like my fallback now for knowing that I mistyped a variable, other than like it being wrong or not defined, is spell check. I'd have to look. I mean, I have Docker plugins. I'd have to look. Oh my gosh, I just opened everything. I forget that it launches my session from before, which could go either way. I'll look real quick. Extensions. I'll just start calling them out. Installed ones. Batch rename, spell checker, ESLint, indent rainbow, IntelliJ key bindings. That's a kind of a carryover because I worked for a company that used IntelliJ, and I was tired of trying to figure out shortcuts for both IntelliJ and VS Code. I'm probably going to uninstall it and just go with VS Codes. Markdown lint, YAML lint, style lint, you name it, they're all in there. So, and then some debuggers for different browsers so I can launch them from VS Code. So I mean, a lot heavy on development type stuff. And then every kind of extension you could possibly imagine. Every time I open a file and it's like, hey, this TOML file can be viewed better if you install the TOML extension. Yeah, go for it, because I want some syntax highlinks. So lots of different stuff. But maybe one day, I kind of shared my ID before. Maybe it's worth relooking at. Cheeto Bandito, I like it. Cheeto Bandito. Kubernetes on a single machine is just a ton of unnecessary overhead if you're not using it to experiment. Yeah, can be. But I'm not going to use it for just experimenting, and I'm totally going to do it. And it won't be overhead to me. Overhead to me is anything that's different in my environment. And right now, Docker only hosts are different in my environment. So yeah, I hear what you say. I hear what you're saying. But I'm picking up what you're laying down, but I'm not buying it. At least for me. No, I totally agree. Like if you're doing Docker only now and you don't want to experiment and figure stuff out, yeah, Kubernetes. I wouldn't say a ton of unnecessary overhead, but I will say that learning Kubernetes will get you super far. And so for me, managing things that are different in my environment are expensive, air quote, expensive in time, expensive in thought, expensive in doing stuff different. That to me is worth the small overhead I would get from running Kubernetes on a single machine. Janik Steiner, I'm getting 25 up down gigabit fiber in the next month. Any firewall recommendations? I have no idea. If you're getting 25 gigabit up and down, I mean, you have your OpenSense, your pfSense, your whatever, your UDM. You have like a lot of options. But if you turn on IPS and IDS, so intrusion prevention and intrusion detection, I don't think there's anything that could keep up with 25 gigabit. I don't even think hard drives could. Maybe, but I mean, if you're going open source, you have OpenSense, pfSense, and then I use a UDM Pro. I love it. but it would never be able to keep up with 25 gig up and down. I think it can do 10 gig up and down, but I wouldn't even be able to turn on IPS and IDS. So, but maybe you don't need it, maybe you don't want it. But yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. I don't even know what I would do with 25 gigabit. Like I have 500 up and down. I can do up to 10 gig, but man, no one can even push to me at 500 gig. And even my backups to the cloud are throttled. They throttle them. So that is awesome, though. That is awesome. Cheeto Bandito. I guess I would get software redundancy if that was an issue. Yeah, so talking about Kubernetes. Othug Muffin. Custom host, LOL. Price for an appliance is going to do... Yeah, it's going to be... Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be expensive. Going to be expensive. Let's see. Jenna Ryan, 25 or 2.5. OpenSES can do it, but different builds. I totally agree. Hey, you're going to have to make sure that, you have fiber or something. Either fiber or you're going to have, an SFP plus port that does 2.5. I don't know if you meant 25. If you meant 25, that's awesome. I don't even know. Yeah, I have no idea how you're going to connect it, but for sure. Swiss Techno Tom, hi, great to see you. Good to see you too. Just joined your Discord server. Finally, all right, you made it. Want to include local hosted Authelia instance as a login method. OpenID connect with Cloudflare Zero Trust. Any experience? Thanks. Yeah. Yes. I'm just trying to think how Cloudflare Zero Trust, which is kind of doing the same thing as Authelia, but you want to use Authelia instance as a login method in Cloudflare. I'm not sure. I know what you're trying to do. Basically, so you're going to use Cloudflare Zero Trust, which then with that you can use a third-party auth system. And so then you're saying you want your third-party auth system to be Authelia. Basically, you're going to federate your local Authelia to Cloudflare Zero Trust. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know. Sounds awesome. But if not, I'm sure there are other things like Okta or Authentic where that's what Authentic does. Okta or something else where you can federate your authentication system and authorization system to Cloudflare. I'm totally guessing because I haven't looked into all the options. Usually people are like, yep, Cloudflare is good and I'll use their identity system. But I see what you want to do. You want to federate it to your own so that you can manage your users locally. I think that's what you're doing, but it sounds awesome. I need to do some research, but we should talk about it in Discord. Post something. Let's talk about it because it sounds pretty awesome. CBN Sandwich. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. 18 Wheel Bray. Had to get cleaned up is why I'm fashionably late. LOL. Had to yank some trees and shrubs. All right. Yard work. That sounds like yard work for sure. Cadis. So what's everyone's longest uptime on a machine currently? I don't know. Mine is I don't even know. It's sad to say that I reboot often, and it's not because I think it's fun. It's because either I need to patch or something. I couldn't tell you. My UDM is my switch. I'll say my switch is usually the longest, but I get firmware updates for it at least once a month. So I have to reboot it. I couldn't even tell you. It'd probably be like a Wemo switch in my house, like a smart switch that I haven't unplugged in years. But the power's gone out too, so I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Server-wise, I would say anything like server or managed is probably a better term, managed by me is at most 1 month because I get firmware updates from most things and I patch my servers and I do all this stuff. Hey, Swiss Techno Tom, 100 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we should figure out your question. Hopefully I got close to answering it or pointed you in the right direction, but I think that's what you're trying to do. Federate some local authentication mechanism in your environment with Cloudflare Zero Trust, which I don't know if they support third-party providers. Maybe they do, and one's called custom, and the custom one would be the one that you're trying to build or integrate. Sounds awesome. Xavius, Martin, how's it going? I like it. How's it going? Good morning. Cadis, nice. Mine is 41 days, 3 hours, and 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, that's a long time. PC Geek has 132 days. Man, that's a long time. Yeah, that is a long time. So I never get those because, like I said, I have firmware updates or something happens where I need to reboot. 41 days. Tim, how is this pickup line? Yeah. How's my rack going? Wow, little direct. Jeez. Jen Ryan, 9 years. Poor switch. Whoa, 9 years. Come on. 9 years? You have a UPS. You have to have a UPS on there. 9 years. That's oh man. We need a screenshot, unphotoshopped of this. 9 years. That is crazy. Maybe it's at work too. Okay, so maybe it's at work. It's in a data center. And okay, so I can believe this. So work, data center, no firmware updates, UPS, and it's been rock solid. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. I believe it then. I was thinking home at first. I was like, oh man, 9 years. You got some awesome power. But yeah, I can totally get behind if it's in data center or in a server room. CBN Sandwich, got a Threadripper 2950, 32 cores. Can't complain really. Just added Geek smart meter, and the whole rack is clocking at 300 watts full speed. Way less than I expected for all of the stuff I have on it, really. Yeah, that sounds pretty good for what you have going. 150 watts at idle. That's still pretty okay. And it's more than mine draws. Or mine draws more than that. I'd love to be at 150 idle. Cadis, personally, I don't need the performance overhead of ZFS. I prefer merge FS snap RAID for my NAS since everything on my hard drives don't change much. Yeah, that's a good point. Othug Muffin, we have switches at work running for 6 years. Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Okay, so these are data center numbers. All right, yeah, mine, like I said, months. If I get over a month, I'm pretty lucky because all my UDM stuff is like patching. I swear it's patching every 2 weeks. Which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with. I'm glad they care about it. But because of that, my uptime isn't the greatest. Let's see. PC Geek, good for backup jobs. They run wicked fast, over 10 gig if you have enough drives. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, I'm having a hard time. I see no brain in there, but I can't get the beginning. No aim and no brains. Yeah, see, when they're not camel cased, it's hard to read. No aim and no brain. Doesn't your NUC support 2.5 gigabit? Yeah, it does. Good call. I'm pretty sure you can use the community driver to support 2.5 gigabit. Good call. It does, absolutely. You know the specs of my NUC. You watched that video. Oh, there we go. Redundant DNS Pi-hole. Yeah, so talking about use cases for Kubernetes or just clustering in general, or more replicas, I should say. Repeatability is great with K8s. I totally agree. It's declarative. It's repeatable. You tell it what to do, and it does it, whether you like it or not. 18 Will Ray, I'm starting to get into the home automation now as well. Awesome. I need to get more into it, but yeah, that is awesome. That is a dark, long rabbit hole that you can go down forever, but it is awesome, and it's super rewarding. It's super rewarding once you have things working the way you want them, or kind of working the way that you want them. I mean, smart devices aren't really all that smart yet. So most of the time you have to tell it what to do. And some devices can start to learn from your habits. I think that's where I'm going to be super excited. Like, I don't have to say oh, when I touch this button and turn that off, I want this thing to turn on. No. If I do that twice in a day, you should start suggesting it to me. I mean, this is more of getting into having AI and machine learning behind the services of the things you're running. So it starts to notice my habits. And if it starts to notice my habits, it'll just suggest those things or do it for me automatically. Do it for me automatically gets kind of interesting and kind of scary. But suggesting, hey, I noticed last time you turned on this light, you also turned on this light, and you also turned on that light, and you also turned on that fan. Do you want me to create an automation for you? Yeah, I want you to create an automation for me. I think that's when I'm going to start getting super excited about home automation and these routines that you do. Right now, we all set them up manually. One day, I want it to be smart enough to say, you know what? I know you. Here's what you do. Do you want me to do that? And I'll say, yes, please. Anyways, yeah, but I'm excited for you. I don't mean to get down on home automation because it is awesome. I just think like I want this whole entire ecosystem to evolve more than it is now. So I'm excited for the future. PC Geek, only thing I'm not a fan of is Git-T's lack of built-in CI/CD. You need to do something like Drone or Jenkins to do automation. Yeah, good call. Good call. That is exactly right. Their source control and lightweight project management, which is awesome. But yeah, they don't have CI and CD, so you gotta pull in Drone or Jenkins, which is fine. I'm a huge fan of Drone. If you had to choose, go with Drone, especially for self-hosted, for sure. PC Geek, I do wish GitLab CE would be faster though. The web UI is super slow. I use the SaaS version, but I used hosted runners. So, Mom's Farmer, power usage is a big factor. I totally agree. 99 cookies. I'm glad to see so many people are using Nux. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. When I mentioned them, I was like, ooh, people might get out their pitchforks when I mentioned HomeLab and Nux together. But then I found that like people were like, yes, now I feel vindicated. That's kind of what I felt. It was like this surprise when I released that video and I said I run Proxmox on a NUC that like people were like, yes, I finally feel vindicated. Anyways, I'm glad to see so many people using Nux. Downsize from an R730 XD to an i3 32 gig NUC plus a Synology box for storage fits my needs in such low power consumption. I totally agree. I totally agree. It is awesome. It is awesome, especially to downsize from a server like that and still be able to run everything you ran before, but on something lower power. That's the dream. That's the dream. I mean, people want just enough power, power, to run their services and no more and no less, and be as efficient as possible. And so that's the dream. If you got it all working and it's all working, all your services are working, you have everything on, a Synology plus a NUC, and it uses low power, that's the dream for sure. PC Geek, starting down the path to learn CI and CD. All right, I love it. I love it. Walrus Pug, isn't a load balancer also TCP? Isn't HTTP also TCP? Yeah, it is, but I know that's confusing, but different layers in the stack. So yes, HTTP is TCP, but it's layer 7 in the stack at the application level, the OSI layer, I think. And then I think TCP is layer 2, I want to say. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at that stack, but I think it's layer 2. So yes, technically, HTTP is still TCP, but there are different layers in the stack. So yeah, and load balancer gets used interchangeably for a lot of things. It's but load balancers in general, are they can be used a lot of different ways. When I usually say HTTP and when I talk about traffic, usually I'm talking about a reverse proxy, so at layer 7 at the HTTP. But if you have a TCP load balancer, yeah, it's at a much lower level. Need to review my OSI layer. It's been a while since I looked at that diagram. Yeah, here we go. HTTP is transmitted over TCP. Yeah, for sure. Windsurfer. Yes, you're right. I mean, web interface. Thank you for your suggestion. All right. Hopefully I answered your question. I'm usually pretty good at chasing down these threads, but I can't remember what was said. 31 Celsius is 87.8 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's pretty warm. That's what we've been having too. It's pretty great. Not great. Sorry, I was looking at the next comment. It's not good. 87 is like my worst nightmare if there's humidity. I like I said earlier, I like it nice and cool, like hoodie weather, and if it's optional, if I'm doing something active, I can take the hoodie off and be in a tee and still be okay. I'm cool with that. N8N is great. I got to check it out. Bot scans. Everything uses, LOL, AWS. Oh, yeah, I was like, everything uses, everything uses AOS for sure. For sure, everything uses AOS. Like I said, AOS. What am I? I'm like combining AOL and AWS. Be a scary company. Yeah, the world runs on AWS. If you said that, you would be right 80% of the time because so much runs there. Comment about AWS scanning. Oh, hey, XOR. Hey, how's it going, man? XOR. Prime, 19 months, 1 month straight. Dude, thank you so much. Yo, how's it going, XOR? How's it going? Good to see you, man. Another mod. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Comment about AWS scanning OpenSense Gateway comes up. Amazon own stream freezes. Coincidence? Yeah, maybe. Nah. They heard me talking to you, and they're like, "Yeah, he's on Twitch, and we own Twitch and AWS, and he's watching the stream, and we're gonna DOS him right now for talking bad about AWS." I didn't say anything bad. Cadis, I had to adjust my knocked off config for a Minecraft server I host for some friends to prevent server scans from waking up a pod server. Oh yeah, that stinks. That stinks. HN Game in UK, yeah, I've only allowed Uptime Robot to ping my outside. Yeah, there you go. The other thing is, like, unless you're using something like Cloudflare, yeah, this is where it gets tough. But yeah, so if you're doing IP based or DNS based that isn't going through a reverse proxy, speaking of one, like, then things know your IP address. So yeah, it gets tough. It gets tough. But I mean, at the end of the day, things are going to ping, things are going to try to log in, things are going to try to send like bad packets to do bad things. And you just have to say, that's the internet. It's the Wild West once you get outside of your own network. It might be the Wild West inside of your own network, but it's the Wild West. So you need to do everything you can to protect yourself. So yeah, it's tough. Windsurf, thank you very much for all your time and dedicated in making super useful, clear, and detailed videos. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. Better clean your filter. There's lots of lint. Linter. I think that's what you're talking about. Linter. CBN Sandwich, Better Comment has done great things for me. Better Comments. I got to check it out. I don't know what Better Comments is. CBN. We're going back to VS Code. I got to check it out. All right. I like it. And Copilot, LOL. So you're using Copilot to write your code from GitHub. Elaine, I need S3 storage. If Rook is too complex, would you recommend Longhorn plus Minio? Can you? So I'm thinking, can you do that? No, I don't think you can do that. So Longhorn gives you block storage within your cluster. Minio or S3 is object storage, so two different technologies. So block storage will give you like block drive space for mounted to your containers, so it can write to them fine, as if it was a hard drive attached to that container. Where Minio comes into play is that with Longhorn, you can back up Longhorn to S3, but you can't, as far as I know, use it for your backing data store. So I think it's so I think if you're going to go that route, it's not together. It's maybe and it's not even nor. If you're going to do Longhorn, you're not going to use S3 unless that's where your backup targets are. Your backup targets can be NFS, or they can back up to NFS or S3. So it's not like you use Longhorn and then your backing data store is S3. It's like, no, you use Longhorn, you get block storage. It's going to use unused disk space on all your nodes for block storage, replicate them everywhere, synchronize them everywhere, attach them everywhere, and just give you HA storage within your cluster. Then if you need to back that up, your target is S3 or your target is NFS. So, but yeah. Hopefully that helps. Better clean your filter, lots of lint. Yeah, I always have lots of lint when I'm linting stuff. Lots of lint in my code and in my docs. That's why I have linters, so it gets rid of them. And then I run linters during CI. PFSense can do it probably. All right. Hey guys, I'm gonna look for kind of mentions. I'm getting close to the end. I got caught up. I started to go faster. I picked up the pace a little bit. Let's see. 18-wheeled Ray. What is 18-wheeled Ray? Fun video to do would be a new desk setup tour. Hardware's nut for desk setups. Yeah, I haven't done one in a long time. You don't want to see it now. I'd have to clean it up because it looks crazy. Like if I point that camera down here, you guys would probably like lose your mind. Like how much stuff and cords and cables I have on here and how messy it is. you'd probably lose your mind and you'd be like, you'd probably lose respect for me. You'd be like, I don't know about this guy, but no, it's maybe someday if I do a little more changing, which I think I'm gonna do for sure. But yeah, good call. Let's see. I'm gonna look for mentions because we are close to the time. 18, we're about deep dark hole, aka gargantuan. Yeah. So that when I was talking about going down the deep dark hole of home automation, it can be. I mean, you can make a career out of it. You're gonna like, I'm gonna learn home automation today, and then like 10 years have passed, and you're like, I'm still doing home automation stuff. Oh, for sure. Hey, let's see. Man, so hey guys, thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you. There were so many subs and bits and resubs and gifted subs and you name it. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in today and taking an hour out of your day. As I mentioned earlier, going to be hopping in voice chat here in a little bit. Azeroth, it looks like that's where people are in the voice chat. If you need to join our Discord server, you can do !Discord, or there's links down below. It'll ask you to join the server, and then you hop in, and then we're in the voice chat. Don't have to say anything. You can just be an observer if you want to. Totally fine. Lurking's fine. But I will be there. I need about 5 minutes after the stream ends, then I'll hop right in. If you guys need anything else, yeah, you're absolutely welcome to ping me on Twitter, Discord, wherever, and I'll try to answer. Most of the time, though, our awesome community, speaking of Discord, has answers either better or faster or both than me. So if you don't need an answer directly from me, yeah, lean into the community because there are a lot of helpful people there. So, hey guys, have a great rest of the day. Have a happy Saturday. I will be back on Twitch next week, and maybe I'll have something for you this week on YouTube. So thank you. Thanks again for everything. Thanks again for that award back there. I kind of said it during the unboxing, but that award is really because of all of you. Because if you guys didn't subscribe and watch my stuff, that thing wouldn't be sitting there. So thank you so much. So have a happy Saturday, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.